How to train when you're unmotivated. Most people believe that successful athletes live on this infinite energy of motivation, this constant wave of drive. Yes, definitely successful athletes have moments of being highly motivated, and they might be more motivated than other people more often. But the truth is, motivation doesn't last forever. It's not an infinite resource. It'll ebb and flow. And the difference between the successful athletes and the unsuccessful athletes is not relying on motivation and finding other ways and strategies to get the same amount of work done. In particular, in the realms of strength and conditioning and those little extras, the little bits. Everyone probably loves to play the sport and do the good stuff and win and all that stuff. What happens when you're losing? What happens when you're injured? What happens when you're not performing the way you want to? And you've got these strategies in place. You've got these other things that can help you. Strength and conditioning is one of those side areas that can help you really improve not only your physical performance, but also your mental resilience as an athlete. So if we can't rely on motivation, what do we do? Well, I've got 7 ways to help you continue to train when you're not feeling motivated. Now, the first is to have a deeper reason. Now, having a deeper reason is like a fail-safe. So I want you to think of someone in your life who you either look up to or inspires you. This is the person that when something really good happens to you, or it's one of your biggest successes, or when you've failed, you share that with that person. You confide in that person. This is the person that when times are tough, I want you to think of this person and how they would speak to you in that moment. So I can't really be bothered doing this right now. I can't really be bothered going to the gym. I really can't be bothered doing my workout. I want you to think of that person when those thoughts come up and listen to what they would say to you in that moment. Live through them. Use their inspiration and motivation to get you through the work. The ancient Greeks used to say, live as though all of your ancestors were living again through you. Okay, number 2, so finding your purpose and your passion through being uncomfortable. So, what is your purpose and passion? Now, interestingly enough, the word passion stems from the Latin meaning of petior, and petior is to suffer or endure. So people obviously think about passion as the fun, bright stuff and someone being driven and motivated, etc., etc. But this meaning is really great, like to suffer and endure, to really work through and overcome. And how often have we seen, really successful athletes having to overcome hardships throughout their life? Well, it's going to be the same as you. Everyone has a different degree of hardship, but it's important to really establish what your purpose and your passion is. And I think one way to really reinforce this for yourself is to actually write it down. Write it down somewhere, put it in your phone, set it as a reminder, put it up on your wall somewhere. And you can either do this every day as an affirmation to really reinforce it and drive it home, or when you're feeling unmotivated, pull it up, pull it out, say those things to yourself. Yeah, it just has to be you. That's a great way to get you going again, because you're reminding yourself of like, all right, this is why I'm doing it. Okay, I don't feel like doing it right now, but this is why I'm doing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Okay, number 3 is to rely on systems instead of willpower. So if motivation is not the key, then surely willpower is. Not quite. Willpower is like a muscle; it can be trained. So when you don't use willpower, it gets weaker. But when you do use willpower, it can become stronger. But unfortunately, willpower can be quite fleeting as well. It's not always there for you, especially if you haven't trained it. So instead of relying on it, we can actually fall back on our systems. Now, what I mean by our systems are usually something you've put into place to make it easier for you, to make it more automated or easier to make a decision. Systems create planning and prioritization. So, an example of creating a system for yourself is if you're trying to start like a new gym routine and you want to get up early to go to the gym, don't just rely on promising to yourself and discipline. Fall back on a system. So that system might be to set an alarm for the morning, and instead of putting the phone next to you, you actually put it somewhere else in the room where you have to get up and turn off the alarm. Because once you're up, you may as well stay up, you may as well get changed, and you're going to go to the gym. Okay, number 4, separate your feelings from your identity. Now, feelings don't have to define you. It's okay to feel things, unmotivated, sad, lazy, all these things. It's okay to feel them, but your actions don't have to reflect your feelings. You can actually act without having certain feelings. Like, just because you're unmotivated doesn't mean that you have to do nothing. You can actually change the way you act and behave despite the feelings that you're having. Yeah? And one way to kind of just help you through this is to simply by practicing that and just knowing that, hey, these feelings don't have to control me is often enough. It's enough to get you to go, especially when you put all these other strategies in place as well. So the 5th thing kind of builds on this. So using your behavior to change negative feelings. Okay, so it's inevitable that you're going to have negative feelings, even if you are kind of, it's not so much that you don't want to go to the gym, but you just don't really feel very confident. You're feeling a little bit self-conscious, maybe not performing as well as you'd like to, so everything just kind of feels like it's not worth it. You're going to have those negative feelings. It's definitely a normal thing for all of us, but how you act on them is really important. So the more you kind of have those feelings but then act in a different way, over time you'll develop more control over those feelings, especially about what you want to choose to do in those moments. So have a negative feeling, but this is how I react. So it's have a negative feeling, oh okay, I go into my shell and I do nothing, or I have a negative feeling, I switch into another gear and I find a way to still get it done. So one strategy you can use if you're in a bit of a low point is to promise yourself that you can quit tomorrow. Okay, bear with me. I know this seems a little counterintuitive. I can quit tomorrow as long as I just finish my workout today. Now, this could be, okay, I can quit tomorrow so long as I go to the gym today. So this is kind of like a little promise to yourself. But what you're actually doing is playing a little Jedi mind trick on yourself. So by saying that, okay, look, I'm going to quit tomorrow, but as long as I finish this first, what will happen is once you've kind of finished, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment and you'll feel a lot better about, okay, look, that wasn't that bad. I still got it done. Even though I couldn't really be bothered, I still got it done. And look, you're not going to be unmotivated all the time, and it might just have been the day. So as long as you get yourself through the day, the next time your workout comes up, it might not be an issue. And you're just going to be like, yeah, cool, I can do it. Or if the next time that you feel unmotivated, you're like, okay, well, last time couldn't really be bothered. Look, same thing again. I'm just going to do this workout. I'm going to quit tomorrow. Over time, this will just reinforce a different kind of do the thing that's good for me right now. And that'll kind of shape your future impulses and preferences. So the more you kind of do this, the less that, I can't be bothered, I'm not going to do anything will come up. It'll just be like, I can't really be bothered, but I'm going to go and do it anyway. Okay, number 6, take advantage of failing. So failing is actually an opportunity. So many of us are so scared of failing and they don't see the bright side of failure. They only see the failing as a negative. Having said that, failing is where we learn. We need failure to grow and find new ways to answer the same question. So the next time you feel like you're going to fall off the wagon, use this failure as an opportunity. Get your butt in the gym. Go and learn. You don't have to go in and hit personal records or complete the whole workout. Just go in and do something and learn something about yourself. Especially in those moments, before you even get in there, that's a great opportunity, because not going is failing yourself. And you can either do that in the day and then hopefully learn from that, be like, I should have just gone, next time I'm going to go. You're going to make sure the next time you actually do go. Or you can just go in the first place and then learn, like, okay, that actually wasn't that bad. Yep, okay, I didn't perform as well as I would have liked to, but I got something done. Okay, the seventh thing is to learn from your mistakes and develop new skills. So resilient athletes, they don't just try harder when they fail. They find a way to get better at what they weren't good at. So this is kind of like when you were younger and you didn't know how to kick a footy, throw a frisbee, hit a tennis ball, do freestyle, etc., etc. Any kind of skill you've had to learn, and you would have failed at it thousands of times before you actually got good at it. To be honest, even now you're probably still failing, but you're constantly working on your craft to get a little bit better each and every time. And that's what a resilient athlete does. The same with this kind of gym context is, toxic self-talk is going to rear its ugly head every now and again, especially when you're having a tough day, and it's going to be like, oh, look, you're not worthy. What's the point? There's no point going into the gym. It's not doing anything for me. I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm not getting any better. Okay. Just saying like, I won't have those negative thoughts. That's not going to be enough. We need to come up with a specific strategy for those thoughts when they come up to get that willingness to train to go again. So for example, we go back to trying to get up early to go to the gym and train. Like 100%, you're going to mentally complain to yourself. You're going to be like, oh, geez, it's pretty cold outside. Oh, God, I'm really tired. Should I really do this? So instead of complaining about how tired you are, accept like, well, yeah, it's early. I'm tired. That's okay. I'm supposed to feel tired. This is part of waking up early. And then really reinforce that message by telling yourself that, well, like getting up early is a part of the process. Like this is a part of me achieving my goal. So I need to do this. Okay. Remember that motivation is simply an outcome. Okay, you can't actually control motivation. But what you can control is what you do, or the factors that underpin motivation. So kind of stop waiting for that green light from something. Stop waiting for the universe. Just take action, because getting something done gets you closer to your goal regardless. Understand that by doing the right thing in the moment is totally within your control.